Yeah, man. Once again, it's on. It's your boy Shaun Q, my partner, like always.
J. Roman.
And together we are
OSP.
Now, today we want to get into something that's been around for quite a while, and it still exists just in different forms.
Mm-hmm. Some of us done it. Some of us have done it. Some of us haven't. But we've all known a collector.
Yes. We don't mean like bone collector or like a fucking head collector.
Wait, what about
like
the collector from the Marvel movies?
Oh, yeah, the Benicio del Toro. Yeah, we're not talking about that dude either. No. What are we talking about?
Oh, we are talking about collections.
Yes.
So we're going to start with as far back as we can remember. We started with trading cards.
Yes. Everybody knows somebody who has collected trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get into it when I was younger, and like it's a weird thing. One of the reasons why I'm a Yankee fan is because we went to get a bunch of Frank Thomas cards in Chicago when he became. He was a rookie for the Yankees. I'm sorry, a rookie for the White Sox.
I'm staring at you funny because you're talking about the Yankees and then you brought up Frank Thomas.
I did because I'm from Chicago, so all my teams except for one are all Chicago teams. My Bulls, my Bears, my Blackhawks. But I was a White Sox fan because we could walk to Comiskey Park.
I can dig that.
And so it was like rookie Frank Thomas is going to take on the big bad Yankees. So we went and bought like as many upper deck packs of cards as we could afford until we found a Frank Thomas. We actually got one.
Okay.
And so he was supposed to sign them for all the kids after the game.
Oh, that's cool.
And this motherfucker went 0 for 5.
Ouch.
Or something like it was like 0 for 4, 0 for 5, something like that. And then left.
Rookie
so
ass.
We were all sitting there like, yo, where's Frank? And they're like, sorry, folks. Frank had a emergency. And everybody's like, no, he didn't have an emergency. He got his ass whipped. So we got to get over to the Yankee bus and Bernie Williams signed 2 cards for me alone. Which I was like, well, the Yankees are pretty cool.
Mr. Williams.
I've been a fan ever since. So, trading
Yankees
cards,
are nice guys.
Right? As a kid, I was like, yo, the Yankees are right. Until people started telling me, fuck your Yankees. I didn't get it. I was like, but they're so nice. He signed my card. Did you have any collections? Did you have any cards?
Yeah, card sets, man. I had actually very few football ones because as a kid, football was not my number one.
Right.
I have a ton, still own them. Ton of basketball cards.
Yeah, Kendall Gills.
I don't have many full sets, but I have a lot of Fleer.
Yeah.
Oh man, hoops,
Tops.
Skybox, Tops. Yeah. My brother gave me some after I stopped collecting because he didn't care about them later. I mean, I'm going back to the mid '80s. I have I don't have a Michael Jordan rookie card, which was the grail at the time.
No.
But I have I think 3rd or 4th year Michael Jordan card, and I have the entire Dream Team set, stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
I have a few baseball ones. I didn't know much about baseball either, except for the fact that they always ruined my cartoon time. So I hated baseball as a kid because it was, put on cartoons. Oh, we're having the Dodger game today or the Angel game today. No. Where are my cartoons? But so I just had those, and I used to collect them like crazy. Me and my friends would trade them, and I have pages and pages and boxes and boxes of cards, which I've looked them up. They're still not really worth a jack.
I was gonna say, are they worth anything now?
A few pennies here and there, some change, a few bucks for a few. I have some Shaq rookie cards for some of my prized possessions in that basketball collection.
Ooh.
I even have probably a couple Kobe rookies, some Iverson rookies, and some good years of some older players. I would say in mid '80s to late '80s to early '90s. I got a few of those rookies and a few of those really good cards like that.
So having when you have like a Kobe card and a Shaq card, you never tried to get them signed?
No, I never tried. I didn't know how those opportunities came about. There was one time I took some cards to see Magic Johnson. He was doing a signing somewhere in Irvine or something like that at some place, but then someone came around with a price list and how much it cost per autograph per type of item. So basketball was $100 to get signed, something like that, cards or whatever. And I looked at I didn't come here to pay for autographs.
Exactly.
I came here to show that I love Magic Johnson.
Right.
And I would love to have a signed card by him.
Yeah.
So we
As
left.
A fan, yeah. I'm just a fucking fan. Why can't I just be a fan of this guy and get my shit signed?
We left. We were not going to go and pay for autographs because I didn't pay for autographs. It's just not a thing to me. I get it now because so many people out there, and I didn't realize this before, will get the autograph and then charge whatever they charge for it. I get that now, but I don't care about that thing.
Yeah, especially as a kid. You're like, dude, I just want my shit signed. I don't, people are stupid.
I even took my brother and we're like, we're out of here.
Another type of card that I know, I didn't really collect, but as kids, they were sold everywhere. We can get them for like $1, and it was Garbage Pail Kids.
Yep.
Did you own some Garbage Pail Kids cards?
I think I had some random ones, but I didn't seek them out. I didn't seek them out to collect as I did basketball cards. Basketball cards were the kings of the cards for me growing up. I don't know baseball, whatever like
and
that.
football, right? But at the same time, you're talking about athletes who are real people. Garbage Pail Kids weren't real.
Oh no, but they were cool as hell.
And they were cool. There was some gross ones I was looking at. There was like Exploring Norman, who stuck his finger so far in his nose, his finger went through his brain.
Yep.
Fucking
I remember
gross.
Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb. Yep. Oh man. So apparently they've been making a bunch of Trump ones, which I didn't know about that. They had like Donald Dump.
Yes, they do. They have a Hillary one as well.
Oh my god.
Those were for the runoff of the election, 2016.
Right.
So we know how that ended, but those they came out with those, and they even had some other collectibles with them on there too.
I'm looking at like the 1987 pack, and they had like Corinna Corona. You see Corinna Corona?
Corona.
She's basically a blunt. She's a blunt. Look, she's a cigar.
I don't think that's real. These are
1980. They were Garbage Pail Kids. Hung up Hank, who was like his mouth was in a hanger. Bloody Mary, even though her finger's bleeding, the blood's all down there. You know what? We're gonna go on to the next subject because that shit's getting gross. Believe it or not, my son, who was 5, is now into this, and he's like 100 years behind, but he's into Pokemon cards because the movie came out. He saw Pokemon. Now he wants to watch the cartoon and he wants to collect the cards. Not collect them. He has like 5 that he doesn't let go of, but Pokemon cards are like, that's some worldwide shit. Like, when that came out, that was like, I remember just it was insane.
Pokemon right now for the U.S. from what I remember, from what I can recall growing up, they've only been around here for 20 plus years, 23, 24 years that I can remember.
Right.
I don't remember before that because I stopped collecting things like that and I didn't care about the cartoon or anything.
You left those childish things behind.
I tried to.
I tried to.
But so Pokemon, and we touched on this in the cartoon episode 2. It took over. It was cards, it was cartoons, and then now it's movies, toys, and all that stuff. Right. But the thing is about these, we don't know how long they were going for in Japan.
We don't.
It's kind of like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has been out forever in Japan, but we saw it so late. We think it's so cool when we were teenagers, and they've been gobbling this up in Japan for already a decade. Or something like that.
We over in America sound like people in the Middle East with Ja Rule. Like, have we heard the new Ja Rule track? Like, what are you talking about, dude? That was years ago. That's how far behind they are in music. We're so far behind in anime and all things in America.
Ja Rule,
that's what they're. Dude, there's some dude in a Mercedes driving through the desert right now in the Middle East bumping Ja Rule because to him it just came out.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what would I be without you? That's what the fuck is happening.
True.
It's just depending on where you are and what's hot. It takes a while to get to certain places.
Yeah, there's a ton of those cards out there, and the originals are so pricey and glossy. And
now, let me ask you, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, because I never collected any of them. I never even really looked at a lot of the cards. I just bought like some for my son. But do you remember GoBots, the cartoon?
Yes.
Okay, GoBots was to Transformers, in my opinion, what Yu-Gi-Oh is to Pokemon.
Okay, so the what I've seen with those characters and those lines, kind of like Naruto.
Okay.
Is that you just have different fan bases. Sometimes you have the same fan bases,
right?
And you let them fight over it. It's kind of like Marvel versus DC type stuff.
Got it.
I can't say I know enough about them to know
the big it's not a knockoff. It's just a different.
It's just different
story or whatever.
Because I did watch a little Naruto and did watch a little Yu-Gi-Oh, and the way they do their thing in the cartoons is very different.
Got it.
If I remember correctly, Yu-Gi-Oh, they played with cards in the cartoon, and the card would like come to life.
Got it. That's right.
This is a very vague memory.
Right. I think I remember. I remember something about that too.
So as far as the big differences, I don't know. All I know is that they all have card games, and I don't understand a single thing about them.
Right. Like I don't get it. So according to that level right there, you do just knock the fuck out of mine. But how? Mine's huge. Oh, he got it. He magic kicked him in the kneecap.
My card game was, Charles Barkley is better than your Sean Kemp.
Right.
I don't want to trade you.
Yeah. I don't have this on our list of things, but we used to all, this is dating us, but we collected Pogs, bro.
That's not even dating us as far as like Pokemon cards,
It's not, but
Pogs, I'm sorry, that's further. Further.
Pogs is like...
No. Hold on. I got to ask out there, and I hope you guys respond on Twitter or Instagram. He's saying Pogs, but does anybody remember the name that they first came out as?
It wasn't Slammers or Smashers?
Slammers were part of it. No, they were Troves. People do not remember this because Pogs became the popular name because it was easy. Troves, T-R-O-V. They were Troves, maybe with an E, I don't know. But they were Troves, and then the name got changed to Pogs, and it used to bug the crap out of me. Here I am walking out with my collection of Troves, and people were like, oh, you got Pogs? No, I have Troves. I still have some. I have Michael Jordan Pogs, I guess you can say.
Right, but that's because... I mean, that's like going back and being like, "Do you know Donkey Kong's original name?" Nobody gives a fuck.
I know, but I was that kid. It just bugged me that they tried to change.
That's because you got some knockoff shit you were trying to play. These came out first. No, these came out first.
Definitely not knockoffs. I used to be pretty good too.
Pogs, mine are Pags. All right, mine came out first. Nice.
Those in our school like a phenomenon.
Man, they came out of nowhere.
If you
weren't slamming somebody's Pogs, like you didn't have a dope ass slammer, and they're like, "Yo, man, what you got?" Motherfuckers would come to school with a Ziploc bag of Pogs and shit. I'm like, you don't even have a lunch.
Do you remember? Like the highest amount you could slam that would flip all over? Did you ever test that for yourself?
I think we did. At one point, I think that's when I started getting over it. Is when it was like how many you could flip over at the same. At that point, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. It was something that either it was like the non-cool kid at school started doing it, or it was like a girl beat you, or you had to flip a bunch of them, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to play anymore. I'm going home. I think the flipping a bunch of them is what did it to me. I think it was my little brother was like, I flipped like 10 of them. I was like,
Fox made a little bit of a comeback. They're in Target stores right now. Target, did you hear that? You need to pay us.
Yeah, but nobody's outside slamming them.
True.
Nobody goes outside. They better make a digital Pog video game where you hit A and have to flip it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's out
there.
They
probably do, because anybody actually outside. Kids don't go outside and play anymore. Let's move up to music now. We're not gonna go way back. I could say this. In my house when I was younger, there was an 8-track player.
Same.
With 8 tracks to play on it. There was also a record player. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna go. I guess you know what?
Our era is not that era though.
You know what?
Exactly.
Let's talk about albums real quick. Let's talk about records. We'll go to that one. Okay. I remember Pops when we were growing up in Chicago. Pops had this big ass. It looked like it looked like a big ass dresser, but you open it up and like a deep freezer, but it was all wood. You open it up and there was a record player on one side.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it played 8 tracks on the other side. That was our first introduction to music.
Oh, that's like the modern stereo system.
Yeah, and it was a floor, and it was huge. Like it took 3 people to carry it out the house.
Gracious.
But it just played records, and it played 8 tracks, which I don't understand what the rest of that shit was for. I guess that's how speakers were. It was just huge.
It's the speakers, it's the wiring, the casing.
All that shit was so old.
It's like the first computer. It took up an entire giant room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But like them old ass TVs, where you're like, all right, I need 7 people to help me move my TV before flat screens. So that was our first introduction to music. I remember when I went to KFC one time. They had a promotion where with the kids meal, you would get a little red plastic album. And it would play Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Nothing Like the Real Thing.
Where was this?
This was at KFC. They were doing a promotion.
That's the music? Wow.
They used that, and it was a promotion because they were beefing with Popeyes and Church's Chicken.
Of course.
So they were saying, we got the real deal. So the album they would give is a little red plastic, playable, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing.
I slightly remember something like that, not with those specific songs, but I slightly remember this.
That was my first album I ever had. It was a little plastic one. I would play it out, and it would play on the record player.
When you say little, do you mean like a 45 or even smaller?
No. I think it was about a 45.
Huh.
It was small, and it was plastic, and they were giving it to kids. Yeah. So that's the only time Pops let me touch the record player was to put my little album on.
It's like a kid-sized record.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was cool. But, I mean, we won't get deep in the albums. I could tell you that some friends of mine, the Avilas, Andy, Danny, Pop, Sammy, they have a house out in Montclair, and they're turning it into the Avila studio. I recorded part of my last album off of it.
Very nice.
If you walk in their garage where they record and they have all the instruments set up and everything, they have this record collection that's not vast, but it is so influential. Like you can scroll through, you're like, oh shit, they have like an original Santana. They got some Roberta Flack in there. They got some Donny Hathaway. They got Stevie Wonder. They got Tom Jones live somewhere, and it's fucking dude. They have music from all over, and you could spend hours just scrolling through their record collection to find something like, oh, I remember this song, and it's dope as fuck. Every time I go there, I try to get in the garage and just go through their record collection. We'll just play some shit, and that's how we'll rehearse or play over. It's some cool stuff. Shout out to the Avilas. Beautiful house they got there. You got to check it out. As far as albums, you want to touch on anything else?
No, I don't really have a lot of albums. I remember seeing them that a little bit, but we didn't play a lot of that because my mom had 8 tracks, and then the era of the tape, the cassette talk came about.
Tapes.
Yeah. The first, we already talked about the first tape we bought or anything with our own money from way back, and the first tape I bought with allowance money that I didn't work for, whatever, just saved up some change. That I can remember. And I used to walk by this record shop or music shop all the time, every day to school. And they had tapes and records all over. Was a Belle Biv DeVoe cassette.
Nice.
And if I remember correctly, it was white.
Oh.
And it was, and the thing is, I knew it was Belle Biv DeVoe, so I bought it. But I didn't realize what songs would be on there because I only knew Do Me and Poison. So this one had When Will I See You Smile Again.
Oh.
And I used to bump that in my headphones or whatever I had at home all the time. It was such
Probably
a
on a
dope
Walkman.
song.
It had to be on a Walkman.
I don't even remember the B side of it because I just remember that song being so good that that's all I remember. I still have a Bell Biv DeVoe tape, maybe not that one, but I have a full tape cassette that I actually stole from my friend who I'm not going to mention his name in case he ever wants it back because he doesn't play those.
You'll never see it again. Never. The first tape I ever got that I bought was similar. It was a white tape, had black writing. It was Boyz II Men, End of the Road. And I remember
such a dope track /
I remember because it was the reason why, like when I moved out here and we lived in Long Beach, one of the coolest things had ever happened. It was a bunch of boys, a bunch of girls. We're all like young teenagers or whatever. And I remember this lady was like, I got ice cream in my house, but if y'all want ice cream, it was a hot ass day. Y'all got to sing for it. And they're like, "Ooh, Shaun can sing."
This sounds like some cougar shit.
Dude, this was awesome. I mean, we were like 12 and 13 and shit.
Sketchy.
So, but it was like 15 kids outside, like 8 girls, 7 boys. And so we were like, yo.
This day and age, man, you
can't do it
realize
now.
these old things you did before. Like,
yeah. She was like, come in here and sit on my lap real quick. I'm just fucking.
Oh, damn. Here we go.
No, so she was like, you got to sing for it because they were bored. They wanted the kids to entertain them.
Yeah.
So the girls were doing like SWV songs.
Nice.
And In Vogue songs.
Okay.
And so me and the fellas were like, yo, let's sing End of the Road. We did End of the Road, and then we did
those groups are sometimes.
Dude, we did End of the Road, and then we killed it with If I Ever Fall in Love by Shaun. We killed it. We was like, yo, we United States. Dude, man, I stepped up. My man stepped up, was like, the very first. It was like, oh, shit, that I saw you. So we were killing it. And because of that tape, me and my brother would sing End of the Road at the top of our lungs all the fucking time. All the time. So that was my first tape. We used to have so many tapes, man. Tapes were insane.
How many? I'm going to ask you how many times you did this, but do you want to explain to them the pencil trick?
Yeah.
For those who don't know?
Yeah. I mean, the pencil, if you had a bunch of tapes, you had to have a pencil somewhere nearby, whether it was to rewind without rewinding. if you either had a Walkman that did not rewind, or you did not have a Walkman, or you weren't allowed to touch your parents' fucking stereo because they said don't touch my shit, you would have to take the pencil, put it in one of the little holes, you heard me, and rewind it yourself.
Yes.
Or I never did my sister did the nail polish. You ever do the nail polish where the ribbon
to repair the tape?
To repair the tape. Yeah, the nail polish to repair the tape.
And you just have that skip in the song.
Yeah, you're like, don't worry about that. At least we can still listen to the music. Some of the things we used to come up with, people used to have to come up with just to make their music play. Kids today would never understand. It's like, look, I get it. Your Wi-Fi went out, so you can't listen to certain songs. But you're talking about having to find utensils and shit to put your music back together.
Yeah,
that was a struggle. The struggle was completely different.
And if you wanted to mix it up, you had to go back and forth, play, record.
Yeah.
Play, record,
oh man, if you had to
show me how to do a mix, he did like a James Brown mix, and he was just pressing play and record all the time.
Yeah. If you don't know what it's like to have to listen to the radio because you have a blank tape and you're trying to make a mixtape, which means you're trying to put together your own playlist. But you have to stop for the commercials. You have to make sure the dude's not talking or whoever's on the radio is not talking during just to get your songs out. And it still would not come out perfect.
Oh, no.
You don't understand the work of having to listen to, like the radio was so much different back then.
Oh, yeah.
You would have to listen to these terrible commercials like, yeah, Cerritos Auto Square. I bet they got a bunch of fucking cars. Can you hear my song now, please?
Yeah.
It was insane. And the work put in was incredible. We are going to take a quick break, go get some bills paid, try to make a little money so we can buy some pencils and tapes. We'll be right back. Y'all stay with us. Welcome back. All right, we were talking about collections, and we touched on trading cards. We touched on a little bit on records and albums. We were just talking about tapes, and everybody who went from tapes knows when it comes to music, the next evolution of tapes was what, my friend?
CDs.
Yes, man.
World-changing CDs.
I saw this meme the other day. It was like, if tapes had an A and a B side, it's only right that CDs would be CD. It was like,
oh, clever.
Right?
Clever.
I was like, somebody put some thought into that one. CDs. I could not tell you how many CDs I've owned over the course of my life.
I can tell you because I still have them all.
I don't really?
Every single one of them.
I've moved
I've
so
actually
many
even
times.
bought one of my favorite albums 3 times because I keep losing the CD or it keeps breaking somehow.
Yeah, it's a CD or it gets scratched the fuck up because you played it too much.
Yeah.
You know what? I know we're not doing the first thing, but what's the first CD you can remember playing all the way through?
First CD I remember playing had to probably be Biggie. because I had a bunch of tapes,
Right.
and then when I finally started getting CDs,
Yeah.
my first order of CDs was like Wu-Tang, Big, and all that.
Right.
And I had to bump that Big. Just had to.
When I
Ready
moved
to die, of course.
when I moved to New York, I got out there and I would take the bus to school, and the bus ride total was like an hour, and I had 2 CDs that I would play, one going to school, one coming back. Going to school, I would play The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Nice.
Coming back, I would play Sound Bombing 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Those 2 CDs.
One of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh, yeah. Those 2 CDs got me through all of senior year. I was just constantly on them. Now, it wasn't the first ones I listened to, but those are the ones that I wore out.
Yes.
Like, they were scratched up, and it was my fucking fault, and I couldn't blame anybody else for it. But CDs, go ahead.
No, go ahead, yeah. Just to, quote Biggie, I let my tape rock till my tape pop.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that with CDs once they came out, because you can skip, forward, all that really easily. I played them until they wouldn't play anymore, which, fortunately, they can kind of just keep playing.
Yeah. And they get scratched up, be like, well, we won't be listening to that one.
Yeah.
I remember, like, when I got my car and I had a CD player in the car, it started with, you would only put, like, 3 or 4 CDs in the car.
Yeah.
And so if you were baller status, you would get that holder that's in your visor above the mirror. You're like, yo, flip the visor down, pick some music out, baby, whatever you want to listen to. She's like, oh, shit, he got a visor with CDs in it. Yeah, even though you were scratching your shit up every time it went in there.
That's why I never used those.
And then from there, it developed into the little small black folder that would hold like 10 or 15 CDs.
Yeah.
And everybody had one of those in their car. And then if
Guess
you
what
were...
size folder
I was going to say, here we go. And then if you were a fucking maniac, you would have what was like a CIA-sized fucking binder.
Still have them.
Man, I had
Multiples
one.
of them.
It's funny because when you would scroll, I remember one time I thought I was all nice. I was like, you know what? I'm going to alphabetize these. That shit lasted for like a week.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Just do it by the artist.
Yeah, because then you try to scroll through, you're like, look up, is it the artist alphabetical or the song? Bitch, just play some music. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. At that point, it was like, all right, this is out of control. But then you end up like where we are now, where we have bins and boxes filled with CDs. Yeah. And until they bring back the, CD players are hot again. I have my album. I recorded my album last year. I put it on CD to give it to certain people. My punk ass friend, Curtis Millender, fucking UFC's own, he bought a brand new Dodge Charger, I think, or Challenger. I think he had a Challenger. Okay. And he was like, hey man, I can't listen to CD. There's no CD player in the car.
See, I know all the new cars are like that. But I'm sorry, I need a CD player.
How you gonna not have a CD player? Most of my music is
still on CD because they don't play what I want to hear most of the time.
Right? You can't not. I mean, they're not that extinct yet that you build a new car without them. Come on, man. People
call me old, but I'm not going to pay to stream my music. To not own the album to me is just kind of
that's a big deal with a lot of people, especially in our demographic. And all right, yeah, my brother's dealing with it right now. He goes, "Why would I pay to listen to some shit that I don't own? Like I can't keep it.
Yeah,
I'm going to pay you every month to listen to some songs or a few albums, but I can't listen to it when I'm not on the Wi-Fi or when I'm not around you. Or
that's my old school perspective on it.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, that's the issue. Is why are we buying music that we're not keeping? You can't keep the music.
Someone put it like this the other day. I won't, and maybe it's you who said it. Somebody said this to you, or they said, I refuse to rent my music.
Yeah, that was my brother. You he's like, I'm not going to rent my music.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I'm totally the same. I still like to go out and buy physical CDs. My last physical CD I bought was probably Eminem's Kamikaze.
Okay.
That was the last CD I bought because it's the most recent. There's a lot out there I'd probably still buy, but I'm like, I can't really spend the money on that many CDs these days.
Right.
So it just has to be, that one I really need. Otherwise, I'll try to find it on eBay for something really cheap.
I am a victim of streaming. I have once I got Amazon Prime, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just use the Amazon Music everywhere.
Well, that makes sense.
I stream because there's a lot of music that I would not buy, and as an artist, especially when I'm about to get back on stage, people are like, well, have you heard this song? You should try it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just check it out on the streaming service because I'm not gonna go out. Like before, you couldn't do that. They'd like you either have to listen to the radio or go buy the album. True. And if you didn't like it, that sucks. You just fucking try. Or you could go to like Tower Records. And be like, sample, I want to hear that one song to see if I want to buy it.
That's right, because they had those listening stations.
Yeah, that was the dope thing to have back then. You could sample it. Now I stream. Everything I listen to now is all streamed because I don't. I mean, I can put CDs in my Xbox or my PlayStation, but I don't. I just stream everything.
Don't get me wrong. I stream on my phone.
Well, you have to. They're forcing you to.
I stream through the TV. I just don't stream through my car.
Right. I Bluetooth like that. I have to. I had Sirius Satellite Radio too, so I would listen to comedy radio and shit like that. I'm hoping to get the OSP podcast on Sirius Satellite Radio. Ooh, imagine that. Get us in the station. Woo! Get fired immediately. So let's go from that. We'll go from music and we'll jump over to movies.
Yeah.
Because with movies, like there was Laserdisc, There was yeah. Shout out to Glenn Brown for giving me all his laser discs.
Yes.
I lost them, by the way. And then and then there was VHS tapes, which there was a beef between VHS and Beta, which I don't know how that ended. I'm sure VHS dominated.
What was Beta about?
Beta was like the Zune to the iPod.
Whatever.
It's exactly what it was. It was like it wasn't. People didn't want. They wanted the more popular one.
Of course.
So there was that, and then from that we went to what is still happening right now. We went into DVDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Now DVDs were like CDs in that you had so many of them.
Yeah.
So many DVDs. If you could always tell somebody by their movie collection. So when you would go to if you go to somebody's house, like long time ago, when I was in the dating scene, a long time ago, if I went to a girl's house or went to somebody's house and I looked at their movie collection, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is a crazy person. Got it. These are all rom-coms. You don't have anything but rom-coms. I don't want to have any fucking conversation with you. Like you, not one non-rom-com. You ain't got like one
action,
you know what I mean, like a biopic. None of that.
That's why I love my woman. She's in the action,
right?
And all that
I
stuff.
see this shit. I'm like, why is this all rom-com? Why do you have 6 copies of The Notebook? Why do you have is one
You're
not
make me
enough?
spit out my
Right,
lyrics.
you almost spit into the mic and fucked our whole show up. DVDs and Blu-rays, man. Like I know you're a big fan of the 10 box, metal box. What do you call them? The hard
The
case,
steel books.
steel books.
But check this out. I'm a big fan of the idea of the steelbook. I do not own one yet, because I'm very, very picky. Plus, they're all stupid expensive, $30, and they're collectible. And don't get me wrong, I want to collect them. But when it comes to movies are the ones where I've definitely stopped buying so much of.
Right.
I'm okay with streaming.
Got it.
Because how many times do you watch a movie?
And go back.
If
and
it's
watch
good,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
you watch it a few times. But when it came to music, I'm listening to it daily. I'm not watching the Avengers daily or Black Panther daily, stuff like that.
Right.
Unless, of course, my daughter wants to see it. But so, it's a little different. I stopped at those. Now I just buy a few here and there. But I do still want to get a couple steelbooks because they're so dope. And I just want to get the 2 that I feel like the most resonate with me when it comes to my current life and fandoms and stuff like that. And someday I'll get them. I'm just not paying the 30, 40, 50 bucks people are asking for because that's just ridiculous. Into the Spider-Verse,
Nice.
the steelbook that sold out at Best Buy because they're jerks.
Dopeness.
And Captain America Civil War. Civil War because I may say I like comics and read comics, but I've actually only been reading comics as much as I have since the Civil War storyline that Marvel put out mid-2000s.
Right.
2005, 6, 7, 8, all that. So that's where, for me, comics started. So the movie holds a special place in my heart with the comics.
Got it. I started reading comics with the X-Men when they brought back the X-Men in the like early, late 90s. Because somebody bought me an X-Men comic book. And I was like, oh, it's like the cartoon. And I remember I took the poster out. It had all of them. And it took up like my whole wall.
I know that poster.
I taped it to my wall and I was like, yo, who's that person at?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was reading comics. The thing about DVDs and Blu-rays, which is funny because we stream a lot, but I move a lot. I just moved for the 55th time in my life. But we've moved a lot. And when we move, it's that gap between when you don't have cable for a couple days until they show up and do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the perfect time. You're like, yo, but we got these DVDs. Like, I know you haven't seen this one.
True.
Or a time like right now, I haven't seen the last 2 Fast and Furious movies. And you can't find them anywhere now without paying for them.
Or rent.
And it's one of those like, shit, if I owned the DVD, I could have just watched it right now and be cool with it. And because, Siri and Google and all of them are listening to everything, I didn't type it in, I fucking mentioned that I hadn't seen the last 2, and then Amazon was like, are you looking for the box set of Fast and the Furious? I was like, what the fuck you doing, Amazon? Get out, mind your neck.
Stalkers.
Right? Nosy bitch. Yeah, so I can't find it that way. But yeah, there's a place in America that to this day is still hurting people's wallets. Even people who are like, I've only owned 6 DVDs in my life. Until you walk by that bin at Walmart, that used to be the $5 bin. That's now like what, $3.77?
$3.77,
something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody has walked by that bin and be like, "Why the fuck is this in there? This is an American classic. This should be $3.77." Like we've all walked by.
We're like that with music too.
Yeah,
though. You walk
like,
into FYE or warehouse, not a warehouse anymore, but still.
You're like, why is 36 Chambers $1.23? What is wrong with you people? We walked by the bin, man. I remember I went through with my wife and she saw The Orphanage, which is one of my favorite horror movies. It's Guillermo del Toro, and he did Pan's Labyrinth. And
I don't think I've seen The Orphanage.
He did Pan's Labyrinth, and the reason why he did Blade 2 and Hellboy 2 was to get the money and the rights from the studio to do his own movie, which was The Orphanage.
Yes.
Not to be confused with The Orphan, which is a shit movie about a Russian woman who looks like a girl. No.
like a little girl, you mean?
Looks like a little girl. Yeah. No, The Orphanage. It's Spanish subtitles. So yes, you got to do a little bit of reading, but it's fucking worth it. It's one of his best movies in my opinion. But I remember Mom, I saw it in the $5 bin, and she's like, "What?" She grabbed fucking all of them. There was like 6 of them. She grabbed all of them. She was like, "These are Christmas gifts." It's so
Okay.
Everybody that year got an Orphanage DVD or I think Blu-ray.
I don't remember getting mine.
Yeah, she gave them away that quick, dude. Like she wanted
That's messed
people,
up.
and I thought y'all had seen it. I thought you'd seen it.
I don't
As a
think I've
horror
seen this.
movie aficionado, how have you not
I don't
seen
get to
The
see them
Orphanage?
all. I just watch what I
Yeah,
can.
but
when I
that's a
can.
good one. All right, well, I'm recommending that to everybody. The Orphanage, Guillermo del Toro. Look it up. Let me know what you think about it. So once we move from DVDs and Blu-rays, there is an epidemic that has been around for a while. I want to say it got famous with Jordan. I want to say Michael Jordan was the one.
I would say that's probably the real start of the culture.
Yeah, because even with the Converse and with the Adidas and what Run DMC was doing, nobody was really collecting them until after the Jordans came out. Once he started putting out a new one, that's when you created sneakerheads. And there are a lot of sneakerheads out there who take collecting sneakers very fucking serious.
Oh yeah, I've seen Fat Joe lick his sneakers in an episode of something. I think it was Fat Joe. He licked them.
Of course he would.
The bottom
he's
of them,
Fat Joe.
because he's never worn them.
He's Fat Joe.
The sneakerheads and others, they have these things, and I can't knock it. I have a few things in my collection that aren't sneakers that I've never taken out of the box.
Right.
I've never seen the light of day. All that stuff.
Right.
But the sneakers, man, I've had a super nice pair of Jordans,
Right.
limited edition, blah blah blah,
Right.
that I wore in the snow.
Right.
I wore it to work.
Yep.
I played ball in.
Yep.
I wore it in the rain.
That's what you're supposed
I
to do.
did not care. I ripped those to
As
shreds.
you should.
And
as
people
much
looked
as
at them
you
like,
paid for
"Yo, what'd you do to your Jordans?" I used
I
them.
fucking wore 'em. I walked in these shoes. Why are you walking in those shoes? What? Why would I-
Sneakerheads are seriously beyond my comprehension because there's so many shoes out there. I get it. It's a collectible. It's an item. And some people are collecting them to flip them and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, and they collect multiple pairs so they can trade and get the ones they want.
Right.
But ultimately, what is the end goal with the sneakers? Is there a nostalgia reason to
I
them?
don't know, man. I think it's different for everybody.
I've been tagged by sneakerheads before in my posts, and I'm like, great. And I put like the most rundown running shoes I could find with like whatever else in the picture, like, yo, here's my sneakers, hope y'all like type thing.
These are my Beverly Hills Cop 2 joints.
Like, you want to see some real sneakers? I wore these walking through the streets of New York for years,
Right?
Till they fell off.
I think it's like my boy Adam is a sneakerhead. He collects a bunch of Jordans, but I've seen people. I'm gonna even put Adam on blast. I've seen Adam be like, "Yo, man, I just got these new Jordans," but he didn't remember if he ate that day. He hit the cat and was like, "Nigga, did I eat today?" I'm like, "I don't know, but you just bought some $400 fucking Jordans yesterday."
I've seen lines at the Foot Lockers and stuff.
Dude, like I get it. Now it's a bigger deal because now everybody's getting like their own shoe deal.
True,
so like,
true.
Dame, all these basketball players, Zion just got his. They all get their own shoes. So it's like you're collecting. It's almost like wearing a jersey if you wear that person's shoes.
I mean, I had Shaqs, I had a pair of Jordans, I had a pair of Magic Johnsons.
Yeah, but did nobody show off their Marburys? You know what I mean? When nobody showing off, check out my XJ900s.
I actually, if I look properly, I probably still have a few of my Marburys that I used to buy those up because they were cheap.
They were cheap.
They're cheap
That
and they
was
were good
the thing.
sneakers.
Even Shaq was at Payless. Those wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Everybody's getting their own shoe. I get that. Especially now with Kanye, the Yeezys are out, and Yeezy's about to. What do you do? He's about to make $1 billion.
He's already dropped like 100,000 pairs of different kinds, and his sales are going to be like 1 billion or 1.5 billion, something like that, of just his Yeezy. But that's what happens when you're charging $2 something per pair of shoes.
Is not just that, but have you seen them? They don't look like That's the part I don't get about.
Straight
it.
up, they're the ugliest Adidas I've ever seen.
The part that I don't get about it is like I get it. You bought these because they're expensive, but they don't look good, which is cool, I guess, if you're never gonna fucking wear them.
Yeah, I don't know.
But how I don't get the sneakerhead thing. I mean, I need some sneakerhead. We need some sneakerheads to hit us up, put us on. Hit us up on Instagram, Old School Perspective, or Twitter. We are OSP, and let us know, man. What's the obsession with the sneakers? Let us know. Because I mean, I don't see the future value in it. I'm sure there probably is. You could be like, I got this pair. I was playing ball one time and something. I tripped and broke my knee, and then Magic Johnson was like, "Hey man, you gotta be like Showtime," and so I bought a pair of fucking Showtime. I don't know. Tell us your fucking story.
Well, now what about women who collect shoes though? I mean, not my wife. My mother has had hundreds of pairs of shoes at one time,
right?
All in different boxes,
right,
labeled with what they are, so she knew right away which ones to grab for what kind of night out.
Right.
So
I feel like with women, how do I? Yeah. What is a female sneakerhead? It's not sneakers. Like, are they pump heads? Because a lot of them are pumps. You can't call women pump heads. I apologize to our female listeners. I was not trying to call you pump heads. I'm just trying to say, if a sneakerhead is somebody who collects sneakers and you guys collect pumps.
All I know about women's shoes is red bottoms.
See, that's the thing is, there's more to it than that. Like, women have like a bunch of different sandals, a bunch of different. These are the heels I wear for these. Either the stilettos I wear for this.
Yes.
Either the flats I wear for this. Either the I don't know the different types of heels. There's so many fucking types. But I feel like with women, it's more of an accessory type thing because you want to match your shoes to the outfit. And I get a lot of sneakerheads do that. Like, well, I got to wear these Jordans with this because the brim on my hat looks like this. So I got to wear the red ones. Like, I get that. I get accessorizing. I understand that. But we're talking about collecting. You're talking about dudes like you said, like Fat Joe. And like Dame Dash said he never wore the same pair of sneakers twice, which is insane to me. It's insane to me. I get it if you got the money, do it. Kinda. It's insane. Like a lot. I feel like with women, it's not like I don't know many women who own a pair of shoes just to have collected them. Like didn't wear them.
That's
for
very
something.
true.
They take them. They're like, I'm gonna wear these. I wore these to this event. I wore these to that. But it's never like, these Louboutins, I've never put these on. They're going to stay on that shelf. I'm going to dust them every Monday. Like, I don't know if I don't know that person. Yeah. I don't want to know that person. So my thing is, I don't think women do collect shoes, but it's more of an accessory and it's to be worn.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put them in that same category. Let's move on from sneakers. We'll move on to a category that is, it's huge in that, and it wasn't until I started talking to you about it that I realized how big of a deal it was. And I'm talking about toys. Now, not just like, I'm not talking about like Lego sets and shit like that. I'm talking about like,
which are still very, very,
which
very
are
popular.
still very popular. But you know what? We'll get to yours. We're going to get to the big one in a second. Let's start off, while we're in that DVD and Blu-ray and CD realm, we'll stay with that format and go video games.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have collected video games.
I have a collection of video games.
I used to have a huge collection of video games. Because anybody who knows me knows I'm a big game head. From Nintendo on, I've had a bunch of games. I've collected a bunch of games. But like you said, we are in the era of streaming.
Yeah.
And so I haven't purchased a game.
A physical copy.
Physical copy of a game. And I want to say like 5 years.
Damn.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. Everything I just do a digital download. I just download it.
I'm so completely opposite. I've been purchasing physical copies, but not playing them.
Yeah. I have downloaded. I think there's 3 games I have downloaded now that I have not even. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, but I own it.
What?
I own it and have not played it.
See, okay, so I've been collecting them, not to collect them. I've been trying to play them. I just don't have the damn time.
Right.
I thought I did.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, they were saying was like the second coming of video game.
They were, and
stardom.
I'm sure it was, but that's the thing. It's one of those games where you need the time to play. You know me. Sure. If I can't play a game for 20 minutes and bounce, I don't play it. So I'll play like Madden, I'll play NBA 2K, stuff like that where I can play, I can pause. I'm rarely online, but when I am, I know I have an hour to kill to play a full game and then bounce. But Red Dead Redemption it's a Western version of Grand Theft Auto, and that's time put in.
Okay, so see, I don't know how the game plays. So you build up a character.
Yeah, so it's just like it's like Grand Theft Auto. It's one of those where it's a whole story. And my thing is, some of the missions, like I remember Grand Theft Auto, some of the missions would take 10 minutes, some would take 50.
So it's not first person.
No, it's
of first person.
What is it? Third person? Is that what Grand Theft Auto is? Third person?
Yes.
Rockstar. So it's that. It's third person. So it's one of those. It's a story.
Okay.
And I can't play a story and that I don't know when it's gonna save when I have to get the fuck up.
I'm even more interested in it now though.
You should check it out. But it's one of those like if you don't know how much time you have.
Yeah.
You can't be like, well, fuck, I just did that whole story. It took 45 minutes, but I only had 40 and I had to leave. Now I got to play it again next time.
Oh, see, that really sucks because that's one reason why I really like the Uncharted series. Okay. The Uncharted series, I press save. It saves where I was.
Oh, right.
There may be like a saving point where it auto saves because it's on auto save.
But it'll save
where I'm at and I can leave. That's why I like it. I don't know how many other games are doing that these days.
They should all
back in the day, we always had to freaking
find the
get
save
to the
point.
spot,
find the save point. If you didn't find the save
stupid
point,
code,
man,
or just risk, having to do the damn level over.
Yeah, I remember being so mad one day because I was on Final Fantasy VII and it was like one of the last levels and I couldn't find a save point. And my sister unplugged the PlayStation. Yeah, my little sister, and I was like, I think I might murder my little sister.
Terrible.
It was a terrible. It was a sad day.
The coming of I want to say the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, where you had save points, was great because Nintendo, if you didn't beat Mario in that one run, you just had to start over.
You got back where they say either halfway through the map or beginning of the map. But it's one. I feel like every game now you should be able to save and go. If you're not playing somebody live online, you should be able to just save and go.
That's true
because people don't have time like they used to. Or I guess they do. Well, that's why I didn't play games like Destiny and shit like that, where they're like you have to do a raid we're doing
Destiny-
an 8-hour raid
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Destiny
Who the
does have that.
fuck has 8 hours to sit there and raid? Like, I remember my boy, he was like, yeah, man, I got my Gatorade over here, my Mountain Dews over here, got my Doritos here, got my 5-hour energy. I was like, for what? Nigga, you in a war?
That type of gameplay is next level. I mean, shout out to that kid, that 16-year-old that won $3 million this past week or week 2.
Yeah, 16. That's fucking insane. I don't see how they have time for that. There's a lot of life being missed. Anyway, that was the video game collection. Then there are others like figurines. Like, people have Star Wars Death Stars that they created back in the day, and they're worth like millions of dollars now. It's fucking
It's a little exaggerative, but
I don't know, man. It's worth whatever type of money that it's not supposed to be worth.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot of shit. But the big thing, and you personally are a collector of these.
Yes.
Talk to the people about what it is you collect.
Well, okay, so over the last... Okay, the company's been around 20 years.
Okay.
But over the last decade, they've really taken off. Maybe a little bit before the last decade, but the last 10 years especially. And right now, the big name in toys that's pretty much put into everybody is Funko. All right? So Funko has been around, like I said, for a long time. Before they did bobbleheads, they have this brand called Spastic Plastic. All right?
Is that like Stretch Armstrong?
Not exactly. So just bobbleheads are different characters.
Okay.
Their first one is Bob's Big Boy. Like 20 years ago. So
Nice.
So they came out with a style called Pop, right? And the figurine of the Pop, like I said, we're talking about 10, maybe 12 years ago, the first one came out. That one started to catch on. It was just the same mold for pretty much every character, but it was every different pop culture type character. So they started with, comics and things like that. I don't know exactly what was the first Pop that hit, but the oldest one I've seen is a Batman from like 2009 or something like that. Nice. Very few people even knew existed, and the packaging was way different. They hung up, like in the little store rack type things. Now they're in boxes. The box is designed so they can stack on top of each other. So when it comes to Funko Pops,
oh shit, I think you were right. The first Funko Pop was Batman. 1998 Batman, and he looked like he had like a weird.
No, that's a new digital one, 8-bit one.
Got it.
That's a new style, but
got it.
So Funko has taken things over in that way where now they are not toys; they are marketed as collectibles. Yeah. They, people have called them pop dolls. Funko made a little campaign to make sure people stop calling them dolls because they're not dolls. They're little
because you can't really play with them.
You can't play with them. They're not articulated. You can just set them. Set them, make nice pictures. There's a lot of great photographers out there making really cool pictures with these and other toys, of course. Right. But Funko's taking over. Shout out to my SoCal Funko Fanatics crew. Just to let you know out there that I'm here talking about y'all. But they're huge. They are at Comic-Con every year, and those are the most coveted. And I'm talking San Diego Comic-Con. There's New York Comic-Con. Yeah, some of these go for thousands. Wow. The highest priced Pop out there is Clockwork Orange that I've seen individually. I saw it go for $15,000 on eBay, and that's pretty much the average price it goes for. Are there more that probably go for more these days? Yes, but that is one of the most coveted figures in all of the game. Now there's a whole bunch of different kinds, and you find them in dollar bins all over the place.
Funny because you were telling me about this. 2 of the top 10 that are the rarest, you were actually talking about is that blue metallic Batman.
Yeah.
And the other one, they said number 1 is metallic gold and platinum Stan Lee.
Which
I don't know who's.
That's actually not the when you talk. Okay, so
even headless Ned Stark.
Here's the thing: when we're talking about people's fandoms and the values, it's pretty much what's valued to each individual person. Right. So Ned Stark, monetarily, has one of the highest values. Right. Those Stan Lee Pops may be rare, but monetarily, they're not the highest values. Oh. So the highest valued Pop, way above them, are like metallic Dumbo, headless Ned Stark. Right. Even old metallic Batmans that are, now only a few years old, but the first 2 chrome Batmans, blue and green, go for in the hundreds, where now the chromes come out, they're like $30. Ain't no big deal. One of the most valuable ones out there is the metallic Biggie Smalls from New York Comic Con. Yeah. I don't remember the year. It was before I was collecting Pops. Right. But it is worth well over $2,000. Right. And I remember laughing, thinking, how crazy is it that it's $800 at this one Comic-Con I went to? Right. And I was like, that's a joke, right? Until you see. And then now it's 25, 28, 3,000. It's getting up there. Yeah. So, there's other toy brands. They don't really like to be called toys, but they do a lot of different toys. Yeah, collectible. They're Pops. They have pencils. They have T-shirts. I'm wearing a T-shirt right now.
There's pens. There's
everything. Now they even come out some games.
Yeah.
But out there, as far as toys go, there's also NECA. NECA makes dope figures,
NECA,
man.
please.
Perfect. NECA
That's
makes these
shot.
really
can have
very
that, man.
articulated figures. We're talking like 24 points articulation, some kind of crap like that. And different outfits, stuff like that. You have them. You have reaction. So there's a lot of retro type things going on. Reaction series. Shout out to my boy. I want that retro. So you got reaction series. You have NECA. You have Mattel still doing their thing. Their stock actually went up and down a little bit this year with the closing the Toys R Us, and then the rise of their toys just getting really cool.
Right.
There is so many out there. If you're looking to explore it, we can chat about this on Insta or on Twitter. Hit us up through the podcast. I'm not sure if there's like a chat button in the podcast.
There is a lot of them. If you look on Anchor, you can send us messages. We can chop it up.
Nice.
I don't know about Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're everywhere. We just don't know what we can respond. We will absolutely respond to you on Instagram and on Twitter. The other ones, good luck. We might see it. We might not. Who knows?
Yeah. So the Pops, that's what those are. Old toys and stuff like that are still much more valuable in the package. Have you ever seen 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah.
That guy has it right. You don't remove them from the package.
Right.
And you keep them where people don't touch them. There's no sunlight, all that. And then what do you do when you become a 40-year-old virgin? You sell them all to start your damn business. Right now, though, the culture has changed. With Funko, now you have all of us approaching 40, over 40, and older, flipping Pops like madmen, trying to make their last few bucks, before they pass on. And it's unfortunately ruined a lot of the games. A lot like sneakerheads. You have the ones who aren't sneakerheads. They know sneakerheads will buy these things, so they go and buy the Yeezy
just to get them to.
They charge double the price. Yeah. They do the same thing with the Pops and with the figures. Some of the most coveted figures are not in my collection because I'm not willing to pay that ridiculous price.
Right.
Let me tell you right now, the average Pop costs around $12.
But they're selling
for hundreds and thousands.
Wow.
That Batman Pop, the blue one, that's worth $400 something, $500 some dollars at its prime, like worth $700, was $15. Same thing with the green. Same thing with all the other ones that are worth that much. They started at $10 to $15.
Dude, Clown Dumbo's worth $5,270.
Yes, it is. The metallic Dumbo is right up there as well. They just had some new ones drop this past summer that are already up to the 5,000 range because people are crazy.
That's insane.
The thing is, that's the asking price. It'll sell one or two at that price, maybe a few. Right. And then it sticks at that price because no one else is going to buy it at that. But that's the price it's sold for. So that's the average.
Got it.
So it goes up and down.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, so we've all collected something in our lives. Toys, music, herpes, whatever. What we want you to do is go ahead. Everybody's collected something. So do us a favor. Hit us up on Instagram at Old School Perspective. Or hit us up on Twitter at WeAreOSP. Let us know something that you've collected. Preferably not the herpes part. We don't give a shit. But let us know what you've collected. We'd love to hear it. We will try to hit you back. Thank you again for supporting us. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the follows. Tell your friends about us, man.
Yes, please.
Tell everybody. If you heard something and it was informative or you laughed once, if we made you fucking laugh one time, you owe it to us to get us 5 followers.
And hit us up. We're really interactive. We're out there.
Yeah.
We're in different areas of the cities all the time.
Yeah.
So we're out there.
Hit us up. Let us know what you think a good topic for OSP would be. Till next time, I'm Shaun Q. Be smart.
Jay Roman. We're out.
Peace.